Spanish conquistadors spent centuries chasing a kingdom made entirely of gold, but the real treasure was something far stranger. Now, before we start counting down the most compelling evidence and theories surrounding El Dorado, I want to walk you through something peculiar. Every legend has a seed of truth buried somewhere in its soil. This one, it grew from a very real catastrophe, a ritual and one man's desperate gamble to save his people. That collision between indigenous ceremony and European greed created the most enduring myth in exploration history. Let's begin at number 10, the Muisca ritual of Lake Guatavita. Around the year 1200, the Muisca people of present-day Colombia performed a ceremony at this high-altitude lake. A new leader would cover himself in gold dust, then wade into the water and wash it away as an offering to the gods. Spanish soldiers heard rumors of this ritual in the 1530s, and their imaginations did the rest. Gold dust became a city of gold. A lake became a kingdom. Number 9, the Gonzalo Jiménez de Quesada expedition. In 1537, this conquistador led around 800 men into the Colombian highlands searching for a city called Zipa. He found the Muisca civilization, wealthy, organized, and terrified. Quesada interpreted their gold ornaments and emeralds as proof of something larger. He was wrong, but his reports circulated through Spanish courts like wildfire. Suddenly, El Dorado wasn't a rumor, it was an obsession. Number 8, the Lope de Aguirre madness. By 1560, the search had consumed so many resources that some expeditions turned to chaos. Lope de Aguirre led a party of around 370 men down the Amazon River, convinced El Dorado lay somewhere in its depths. What he found instead was starvation, disease, and mutiny. Aguirre eventually turned on his own crew, executing rivals and declaring himself Prince of Freedom. The expedition collapsed into tragedy, but it proved one thing: men would destroy themselves chasing this phantom. Number 7, Sir Walter Raleigh's 2 expeditions. In 1595, the English explorer sailed to South America, convinced El Dorado lay on the Orinoco River. He found indigenous settlements, some gold, and a lot of disappointment. Raleigh returned to England with stories but no treasure. Decades later, aging and desperate to prove his theory, he led a second expedition in 1617. This time, his son died in the fighting. Raleigh returned empty-handed and was executed shortly after. His obsession cost him everything. Number 6, the Manoa myth takes root. By the 1600s, explorers had woven the legend into something new. They called it Manoa, a city built on an island in a vast hidden lake, surrounded by jungle so thick that no European had ever penetrated it. Maps started appearing with Manoa marked in careful ink, as if certainty alone could make it real. Cartographers included it on official documents. Governments funded expeditions based on these drawings. Imagination had become geography. Number 5, the Amazon's real civilizations. Here's the thing that makes this legend even stranger. Archaeologists have now discovered that the Amazon actually did harbor vast, sophisticated societies. From around 1500 BCE onward, thousands of settlements existed along the river, complete with earthworks, agriculture, and trade networks. But they weren't made of gold. They were made of earth and ingenuity. Europeans were searching for a fantasy while erasing the reality in front of them. Number 4, the lost city of Z. In 1906, British explorer Percy Fawcett became convinced that deep in the Mato Grosso region of Brazil lay a sophisticated pre-Columbian city he called Z. Fawcett believed it was as grand as Rome or Babylon. In 1925, he led an expedition into the jungle with his son. They disappeared. For decades, people searched for Fawcett, convinced he'd found Z and was living among its inhabitants. He wasn't, the jungle had simply taken him, but the legend persisted. Number 3, Lidar reveals the hidden landscape. In 2018, something extraordinary happened. Researchers using Lidar technology, which bounces light through jungle canopy to map what's beneath, discovered massive earthworks in the Amazon. Pre-Columbian people had reshaped the landscape on an almost unimaginable scale. Thousands of geometric shapes, settlements, and agricultural complexes emerged from the digital maps. The jungle had been hiding entire civilizations, but still no El Dorado, no city of gold, just evidence of something far more complex. And that brings us to number 1, the irony that destroys the legend. Here's what makes El Dorado truly fascinating, and why this myth matters more than any golden city ever could. For 400 years, conquistadors and explorers destroyed indigenous populations, burned records, enslaved thousands, and stripped ecosystems bare, all searching for something that never existed. They were so fixated on the golden phantom that they didn't see the actual treasure in front of them. Organized societies, sophisticated agriculture, complex trade routes, and knowledge systems that had thrived for millennia. The real El Dorado wasn't a place. It was a mirror. It reflected European greed so perfectly that it became more real than reality itself. Explorers saw what they wanted to see: infinite wealth, untouched lands, civilizations waiting to be conquered and converted. The myth justified colonization. It excused genocide. It transformed theft into heroism. And even now, centuries later, when we finally have the tools to actually understand what was here, we're still learning how much we destroyed while chasing a legend. The Amazon didn't need gold to be valuable. It was already the most biodiverse region on Earth, home to people who understood its systems in ways that still astonish modern ecologists. But because it didn't glitter, because it didn't fit the narrative of easy conquest and portable wealth, it was treated as an obstacle to be overcome, a wilderness to be tamed. The legend of El Dorado wasn't just false, it was catastrophic. And that's the real story buried here in our archives, not the treasure that was never found, but the treasures that were destroyed in its pursuit. If you've ever wondered why certain myths persist even after we've proven them false, this is your answer. El Dorado survived because it was profitable. It justified investment, conquest, and exploitation. It was a story powerful enough to rewrite history, and we're still living with the consequences. Subscribe, we examine these kinds of historical obsessions and their hidden costs every week. Subscribe, we examine these kinds of historical obsessions and their hidden costs every week.